Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to another exciting episode of Ask the Accountant Pitstop podcast here on the live studio floor of Accountex 2025. As always, we've got so much content coming your way with so many amazing guests. But for me, hope she's not offended by this, I find this the queen of AI, and we're going to talk about that very, very soon. But if you like this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And don't forget to see some of our other content from the show, including our legendary grid walk. So without further ado, Billy, why are you here and what do you do?
Thanks so much for having me. So I'm Billie McLoughlin. I am a qualified accountant, spent 13 years in practice and then moved to 2020 Innovation to be a practice consultant. The idea was to help the members grow and be more profitable, which is the benefit we got from being 2020 members when I was in practice. But due to my keen interest in digital, and ultimately, to be more profitable and to grow a business, you need to be good at tech.
Yeah.
So I help a lot of practices with their tech strategy.
Love that.
And as you can imagine, AI just imploded from that.
So you do your Friday AI, it's called, is it? No, I've butchered that, haven't I?
Friday AI.
Friday AI, that's it. Which I absolutely love. Anyone who's listening, please make sure you it goes live pretty much everywhere, right?
So I do it on LinkedIn and I also post it on YouTube. So
yeah.
Friday Eye is essentially a weekly roundup of AI news, but specific to our industry. There's so much noise out there. The idea is that it's a nice way to bring it back to accountancy, bookkeeping, and what it means for us and our clients.
Yeah. And I can't believe this first time we've got you on because literally it's a synergy of everything I love about our industry. You love the tech, we love the tech. You love training, we love training. Like it's going to be a really interesting one. So thank you so much for coming on board. When we first start this podcast, we always like to think about the place we're in. So Accountex 2025, our mecca, if you like, our Glastonbury, whatever you want to call it, our big event of the industry for us accountants. What did you first think of 2025 Accountex this year? What was your first impression?
So for me, I never attended Accountex as an accountant. So this is my third Accountex now in
Always exhibitor or speaker exhibitor?
I've never been as an exhibitor or a speaker, yeah. And for me, it's always the quality of the people that I hear that get me excited. So prior to coming, I have a little look and see about the talks that are on. So for me, my first reaction, obviously the AI sensor in me was going off, seeing so many banners that say AI.
Yeah.
But the quality of the speakers and the attendees and the friendliness of it is what I love. I
love that. I mean, definitely AI has been a buzz. It's been a buzz for a while, right? But yeah, it seems like every press release, every thing from, especially for the big players, has to involve the word AI, doesn't it? It has to be there.
It does.
That must make your job so much more difficult, though, because from a day like this, you must be like overwhelmed with all of these announcements or whatever it's going to be, right?
Yeah, and because I still do have a hand in the tech and I still do a lot around the technology side of things, is keeping abreast of the changes on new systems, new features in existing systems, because I'm also really passionate that we shouldn't just change for the sake of change.
Yeah, 100%.
And ultimately, I was saying to someone yesterday, I visualize it very much as a Venn diagram of each product bringing that Venn, that circle, and then another one comes in layers on top. And there are quite often crossovers. And ultimately what happens is we end up getting some products that get cannibalized by existing products we're using, adding these features on. So it's difficult to keep abreast of it, but for me, that's my job. And for an accountant, how are you supposed to do that while servicing clients, running a team? Even just running the office is difficult, isn't it? But then AI just adds this extra element where there is so much noise. I hope that I'm able to filter out a lot of it and just try and give that information that's important, relevant, and to be honest, actually doable as well.
Yeah. And I think also the one thing I've definitely learned about it in terms of the relationships I have with certain vendors, right? I'm very close to particular vendors and all that sort of stuff. And I do a consulting and help them and all that sort of stuff. But one thing I would definitely say that I've been pushing back on everyone out there is don't just release AI for the sake of it. Like, we've got to have a wow factor. We've got to have a reason to get invested. We've got to have a reason to get excited about it, right? If we can wow them, they'll start using it like properly, right? And if we don't wow them, if we just release something just with a stamp on says AI, they'll use it a couple of times, don't see the point of it, and they'll fall off, right? Have you been seeing that?
Yeah, unfortunately, incorrect adoption slows down adoption long term, and AI is going to be that's going to be super prevalent in the AI space. What happens is people lead with it and they say, oh, can you help me implement a product in audit that's got AI. And I'm like, you're leading with the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You need to lead with the problem. What is the problem? And then there might be automation that can sort it. You don't need to necessarily go through the artificial intelligence route, but because it's that buzzword, vendors are leading with it as a sales pitch, and people feel like, well, to be ahead, I need to be using AI in my practice. Actually, it's about getting to a point where you're able to use AI, and at that point, you can choose whether you want to or not.
Definitely. All right, so Accountex 2025. What are you most looking forward to from this particular event? I know we're kind of day 2 starting to figure. Is there anything else that's on your agenda that you're excited for? Any name drops or anything?
So obviously yesterday, the really exciting news of Engager and Tax Calc was brilliant. I'm really enjoying it. So Dex have got a great promotion at the moment where they're talking about what we got into the profession for, which is such a lovely take on it, because we didn't get into the profession for chasing clients or
filing VAT returns.
Exactly. So I think that's a really great thing. But ultimately, going around and seeing new products, I did a talk yesterday about consolidation that we're seeing in the industry. And it's great to see new products pop up, wondering who's going to integrate this time next year, who's going to be bought out this time next year, and seeing people flourish in their conversations that they're having with other accountants and bookkeepers.
I love that. So for you then, an event like this, fair to say it takes a lot of your time. Preparation takes a lot of your time in terms of being here. There's obviously costs involved and everything else. For someone who maybe never been to an event or maybe a little bit apprehensive about coming to events, how would you advise them to come to an event like this and get the most out of it? Because I think a lot of us, we see this as an investment, right? We're investing our time, money and everything else. So what's your top tip for people to get the most out of an event like this?
So as an attendee, and as I said, I never actually came as an attendee in practice, so it's great to answer this question. I know you said one top tip, but one thing I do want to say is this year Accountex have put on their solo traveller area, which I just think is the most wholesome, incredible thing, because I used to attend conferences like maybe mid-20s by myself and think, oh my God, there's all these people that are so much more intelligent than me and it's so daunting, and how do you start a conversation with somebody? So I think that's wonderful. But in terms of getting the most out of it, again, come with that kind of pain point, because otherwise you do get the shiny product syndrome.
Yeah.
And you might leave with a few ideas or a few products that you want to implement that don't really solve the problem that you've got. They just maybe have some really great bells and whistles that look fancy.
Yeah.
So whether it's a client or an industry that you've got in mind that you're coming to look for products for, or maybe it's your practice, what's the issue that you're leading with and what products can solve that in the best way for you? And please, 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 when you're speaking to vendors, give them insights into your practice. Don't let them lead with a sales pitch. You need to lead with you and the way that you do things. I can promise you, you'll have much better relationships with the vendors.
I love that. And I think as well, what happens there is you can get overwhelmed in this event. I've been here, done this, and come back with 5 or 6 changes I wanted to make my practice in the next day sort of thing, because we come away so excited about it all, right? Mm-hmm. But our team are not going to appreciate us changing 5 or 6 systems overnight, right? That's never going to go down well. So I think your approach of let's really systemize it, let's go for that pain point, go from there. You might find some inspirations for later down the line. Yeah,
exactly.
But concentrate on the now, right?
Yeah. Don't neglect the products that you're currently using. So if you do see something that is in a competitor product, go back to your vendor and say, are you going to be implementing this? Is this something that you're thinking about doing? Is it on your roadmap? When is it on your roadmap? Can I hold you accountable? And then go from there.
But sometimes it's just talk to the trainer as well. Like I train for some software, and the amount of time someone says, oh, I wish, so-and-so could do this or so-and-so could do that. And I'm like, we already do.
Yeah.
Do you not know this feature? And that's on us on, training better or the software being, better at figuring it. But that's sometimes the case, isn't it? Sometimes, like you said, that software already does it anyway. That bell and whistle's there. It's just hidden away. Yeah.
And if you are lucky enough to have a team that you can bring down to the event as well, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Allow your tax team to go and explore tax tools and your accounts team to go and explore accountancy tools. Don't just do the vendors. Don't just do the talks. Try and get a nice hybrid mix.
And I think back to that solo traveller lounge point, one of the lovely features I saw them is they've got a WhatsApp group. So they are dividing and conquering because they're basically, oh, you've got to go see this, or have you got problems with this? And they're just, they're creating a community, right? And that's what we love. Or, sorry, it's a tribe now is the new.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We call it tribes.
And your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. You're someone who's very passionate about this industry. We can tell that. We adore you for that. But what is the thing about this industry that you love the most?
So we was actually just about to touch on it then, I think, and it is definitely the community. So I've been in the industry now for 15 years, and when I first started in the industry, there was very much an issue with competitors. So, for example, 2020, we do practice forums where accountants can speak to one another. And I know the partner that I worked with at the time was like, well, is anybody local going to be on that call? We don't want to give away our trade secrets. Yeah. I don't know when this happened. I'd say probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I saw a massive shift in this. And it's just so lovely that whether it's an accountancy practice next door or on the other side of the country, people are really, really open to sharing ideas. They're really open to being able to share the pitfalls to avoid other practices doing it, celebrate each other's success. When MTD for VAT came in, I knew that a practice in Leeds that Paul Lodder was a partner of at the time had done an MTD VAT return. And I'd met him at a QuickBooks event. Again, I was early 20s and I was by myself, and he was so kind. And I rang him up and said, could you help me? And he had absolutely no reason to help me. He was an hour away in terms of practice, so generally a competitor. And that type of kindness will always stick with me. And I really hope that other people can see that and pay it forward. And I feel this community feel, and it's just amazing. The best thing about bookkeepers, actually, in my opinion, the bookkeeping industry are the best there.
Their community.
They are incredible. And I think accountants can actually learn a thing or two from the bookkeeping community from that.
100%. Collaboration over competition, isn't it? Always. You see any ICB member out there and they will say, if you cut me now, I will bleed ICB, right? How many accountants can say the same about their institute?
Yeah.
So I love that. Okay, that's what you love about the industry. What would you like to change about the industry? What keeps you awake at night going, I wish that was better?
So for me, it's unfortunately because everything feels like it's got to be progressive. Everyone feels like they have to run before they can walk. So the one thing I would change would probably be around holding your hands up. There is absolutely no shame in saying, I still need support in collecting client data, turning on bank feeds, getting information in regularly.
Yeah.
My team morale in the office, my culture's not quite where I want it to be. And leaving egos at the door, leaving expectations at the door, not worrying that, another firm might think this, or it's about understanding that the foundations need to be set correctly to build the good practice. 100%. But because everyone else feels like they're up here, and I can promise you they are not, I think everyone thinks everyone's up here, so they sometimes are scared to admit they're down here and that they need the support and help with that. So that's one thing where I just think I wish more people were open and honest about, I wouldn't necessarily say the struggles, but being open and honest about where they are right now and what they can do better, and hopefully that would then filter out to other people thinking, I can do that too.
Yeah, and I think it's just social media as a concept, isn't it? We're always just looking at it as, I always butcher the phrase, but we're seeing their outside and thinking it's our inside. It's that mentality, isn't it, right?
Exactly.
And I think we've all got to learn from that. We've got to understand that, maybe what you see there, the glossy side that they're showing us, because it's, they're showing us the best bits. We've got to assume, and we know that they've gone through trials and tribulations as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it also, on social media, it becomes an echo chamber. You see one successful person, and then it leads you to more. And before you know it, you think, oh my God, I'm way behind.
Okay, if I was to generate a time machine today, and I was going to hand you over that time machine, and you were allowed to use that time machine to go back 12 months to Accountex 2024, what piece of technology, software, app, anything, it could be personal, it could be business, it could be a coffee machine if you need to, right? What would you send back and go, I wish I knew about this earlier, because this has been an absolute game changer? What's that top number on your tech stack at the moment?
I would say OpenAI, ChatGPT is my safe space.
Yep.
I know there are so many large language models out there. They're consistently at the top, they're consistently outperforming, even if one jumps over, it's only for a couple of weeks. So using an AI tool like that, but using it properly.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, what happens is people will dabble and they'll say, oh, the response is all right, so I can do it quicker myself. The reason why, and I like the timesheet concept, so the last 12 months, the reason why people see success with tools like this is because they feed back and they treat it like a team member. So they'll ask it to produce something, or they'll give it a template and say, this is how I normally do it, can you do something similar? So the only reason why I do get a good response over the last 12 months is because it's learned so much about me and the way I process things, the way I talk, the way I write, the way I speak. I'm actually really disappointed that people can tell when something's written by AI is a hyphen in it, because I always used to use hyphens pre-AI,
Or,
and now I feel like I can't.
scatter emojis, because that's all I ever do,
Oh my
right?
God. Yeah, or every title has a capital letter.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people that used to write like this, so now I think, oh my God, I need to...
You were AI all along.
Oh my God, yeah, Bailey was in there all along. So yeah, I would say that it's using an AI tool and using it properly, because I feel like that caveat has to come with it.
And responsibly as well, right?
And
That's been the difficult one in our industry, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be responsibly, and don't get too bogged down with that. As long as you're not using a free tool, you don't have to worry too much about the security aspect. One thing I love to speak on platforms like this just to get this message point across. There is in Teams, ChatGPT, there is a really great security system, but the issue is the GDPR isn't there. So although you can put client data in there and it's safe, if your client wants to retract that data, you can't do it. Yeah. So just to get a little bit of safety in there. I feel like
AI responsibility, I like it.
Yeah, I need the high-vis jacket and a hard hat.
Brilliant. All right, so this next question is generic, but I feel like the generic question for you will be wasted, right? So the question we normally ask is, we've gone back 12 months, we're now going to go forward 12 months. How do you feel AI is going to affect you going forward, right? We're not going to throw that at you. What I want you to think of, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, you've obviously used AI in so much amazing things so far, and it's a time thing, right? You're investing time into it, you're figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and you're doing it then to help others. What's the one area that you really wish that you could inject some AI in at the moment? What's that one area you feel like it's not been serviced properly by AI?
Chores around the house.
I love that.
I just think it's always the mundane tasks, and you're like, well, it's not quite there yet. I think for me, it's about, and it's something that I'm building, trying to do an AI agent on for myself, but it's around just the amount of data we have at our fingertips now is really overwhelming in every aspect. So as we said, like, how many vendors are here today? How many are doing updates? It would be great if there was a one-stop tool, rather than people having to build it, because you can build it, a one-stop tool that kind of said, right, you use these 15 apps, here's the updates they're doing, and therefore you don't have to go out and scour the internet, you don't have to, and it would help with those using them, how to use them better, get the most out of them, stop them moving and the pain of moving products. So something like that would be a really great feature for accountants, because that's where they're having to invest time, and actually they can't charge the clients for it. They can't bill for it, and so we need something that's going to make the day-to-day aspects of running a practice much, much more simple.
And helping migration data, right? So if we do have a shiny new tool, we want to be able to implement that sooner and less painful, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly that. 100%. Yeah.
All right, we could talk for hours, and I think everyone who is watching on here will definitely make sure you put in the comments below, but we'll definitely need to get you involved in a Cool Friends episode, because there's so much more we want to deep into. But this is a Pitstop podcast. We're supposed to keep it short. We're supposed to keep it snappy. Otherwise, the producer tells me off. So our last bit we're going to talk about is going to be the world of our funny little game called Guess Who. So I have in front of me a load of Top Trumps cards, and you don't know who they are. They were picked at random, weren't they? Can you agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you randomly pick these cards, and what you're going to do now, you're going to ask me a question. I can only say yes or no, and you're going to try and guess all 5 of these cards.
All 5?
And there's a time limit. You've already said you want to beat Chris Downing, so that's your aim, to go and beat him. His time there was 5 minutes 52. At any point you can skip, and a skip will cost you 1 minute.
Oh, wow, okay.
You like the rules? Yeah, I don't say why I say I like your rules. You don't get a choice in the rules, right? So you're allowed to ask me any silly question in 3, 2, 1. Ask me a silly question.
Is it a man or a woman?
I can say yes or no.
Oh, yeah. But it was a silly question. Can I blame that on baby brain? Is it female?
Yes.
Are they an accountant?
Yes.
Are they in the accountancy space?
Yes.
Or vendor space? Okay. Are they very prevalent on most social media platforms?
100%.
Is it Rachel Harris?
It is, yeah, well done. First one done.
Is this a man?
No.
So is this a woman?
Yes.
Are they in the vendor space?
Oh, technically yes, but not in the typical vendor space.
Is it Caroline Hobden?
Oh, well, yes, well done. Next.
Is this a man?
Yes.
Are they in the vendor space?
Technically yes, but they wouldn't be known for it.
Okay. Are they...
I would say more exhibitor space.
Exhibitor space. Is it Dan Cockerton?
No, good question. Yes.
Have they been in the industry for more than 10 years?
Yes.
I'm going to have to skip this one. I don't.
Seriously? Maybe ask what brands they're associated with.
Okay, are they associated with Xero?
No.
Sage?
No.
QuickBooks?
Yes.
Is it you?
Yes. Next.
Is this a man is this a man?
Yes.
I'm going to get the hang of these yes/no ones. Is it somebody in the vendor space?
Yes.
Do they work for Bright?
No.
Do they have good banter?
I would say so. Although, I gave him a 10 out of 10, so yes. They
Sam
definitely do.
Horner.
Yeah. Final one.
Are they in the accountancy space?
Yes.
Is this a woman?
Yes.
Are they big on social media?
Very big.
Grace Hardy?
Wow. 2 minutes and 10 seconds on that one.
I wasn't going to know.
So very, very well done. That
Thank you.
definitely beats Chris Downing, who will be even more upset because it goes further down the ladder thing. And our rough one here, we've had some more. Actually, you are technically second.
I will take.
You're going to take that? You're going to take that? Yeah.
Especially because I kept asking open questions. I mean, for someone who's a qualified accountant, I can't grasp the difference between a yes and no.
Yeah. Very, very good. So please can you use that camera, that camera, that camera, that camera. I want you to go and plug some more who you are to the world. Go for it.
Yes, no problem. I'm Billie McLoughlin. I am an ACCA qualified accountant. I work for 2020 Innovation. We are CPD providers and we offer technical CPD as well as technological CPD, which is so important now in the industry. I also do a weekly roundup on AI on LinkedIn. So please do go and check that out. Called Friday Eye, where I tell you how AI can impact our industry specifically for accountants and bookkeepers. Do come and speak to any of the team at 2020. We're a very, very friendly bunch. We're a fantastic community of accountants that I was once a member of, and that's why I wanted to work there. So please do come and say hi.
I love that. And again, we need to get you a card. So you need to come on and do a Cool Friend episode with us where we'll just talk more about AI, more about 2020, more about everything that goes with it. So
that would be
thank you so much for giving up your time. Thank you so much for coming along. The Queen of AI has been here, has landed, and we'll see you in the next bit of content. Thank you very much.
Thank you.